Hi, it's KCCK's Culture Crawl. I'm Dennis Green, and my guest today is Joe Link, theater director at Jefferson High School in Cedar Rapids. Joe, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
And we are gathered on the occasion of Jefferson producing the first Playtime Poppy show of the school year. For those who don't know, although Playtime Poppy is approaching its 75th anniversary, so anybody that's been in Lynn County for too long is probably familiar. But each high school produces a show. There are other activities that go on as well that we've talked about here on the show. But I think Jefferson is always first out of the gate.
Yep.
Aren't you? Okay.
We have been doing it, I think, first in the year for at least the last 15 years. Yeah.
And the play is the subject. The script is maybe new, but the play is well known to all of us. It's Alice in Wonderland. And this is now, a lot of people know that in addition to being a teacher and a director, you're also a well-regarded playwright, have had lots of shows produced, especially here locally. And this is actually you adapted this. So this is a new take. New take on a classic tale.
It is a new take. It actually goes all the way back to when Bruce Moore was putting on Alice in Wonderland as their children's programming. Went to see it. Wonderful production. So many friends in it. But the script had jokes like, "Oh, Goody, Treacle." And I just looked at my wife and I'm like, I don't think anyone in the audience knows what Treacle is because I don't know what Treacle is. So when the opportunity came in, the kids at Jefferson High School was like, we would really like to do Alice in Wonderland. I said, well, let's build a script together. So we sat down and took all the classic scenes like the tea party and the Cheshire Cat and said, okay, how can we make this interactive? How can we make this those magical moments? Because I can never forget during that production, every kid was doing a great job. They're watching it, they're enjoying itself. And then Jim Cropa came out playing the caterpillar, and instead of a hookah, which you would want to replace that in a children's show, he had a giant bubble blowing machine. And every child just sat up like somebody just walked by with fajitas. They're like, what's this? What's going on here? And they got politely up and started to pop bubbles through it. And they were so immersed in the show at that moment. I was like, that's it. That's the magic I want to tap into. So we have entrances and exits throughout the audience and projections that go all the way around the theater space. Whatever we can do to make kids have that same immersive excitement for the show.
What other things about the show did you change or update? I love that. I love that. Well, we're going to take out references to Treacle. That's a perfect example.
One of my favorites is instead of the caterpillar smoking, they're sitting on the mushroom, but they are a jazz musician. So the front of them is telling a beat poet.
Oh, sure.
And it's sharing things. And then further down its legs, get out a tambourine. And then further down its legs are playing bongo drums. And then we actually have a student who's playing an upright bass at the end of the caterpillar. So they create this whole jazz poet thing together. And it's absolutely hilarious.
Oh, I love this.
So that's one of those fun updates. And to try and make as much magic as possible, what we did is we took a whole group of kids and we gave them those black morph suits. They're completely ninja outfit. And when, for example, Alice needs to look like she's falling down the rabbit hole, they'll all lift her up and then they'll lift plates on either side of her and clocks so she looks like she's falling down the rabbit hole while she's kind of levitating through the air. So a lot of just different updates to make it fun.
Special effects are kind of important in the theater these days because, for good or ill, we are raising a generation, and we've raised three generations of children who are used to things flying and things, that the make-believe world having technical things that are impossible. So
Absolutely.
You got to figure out ways to do that in the theater too.
And to make it practical is what makes it fun. I mean, theater's the one place where we get to still do the magic tricks right there live in front of you, and it makes it part of the magic of the theater. So to see those types of things happen where a trap door opens and a character comes out, that's something you don't get to do in your living room unless you have a trap door, which is a dream, but we'll get there someday.
And no CGI.
No CGI
when you say
available.
It's all practical effects.
Exactly. So yeah, so much fun with each and every one of those moments.
What's your personal history with Playtime Poppy? I'm sure your own kids went from when they were little. Now, of course, they grew up in a theater family, but it was probably an early experience for them.
Definitely. They've absolutely grown up with all of the productions. I moved to Cedar Rapids, it was about 27 years ago, but it was the very first production we did at Jefferson was our Playtime Poppy while I was there. And I'll always remember there's a young man. He wasn't the best student in my class, but I came to rehearsal that day and I'm like, oh, you're in this play? And he goes, well, yeah, this is their Playtime Poppy show. My younger brother's going to get to come see this, so I want to be in this production. I remember when my older brother was in these productions, so I don't want to miss this. And just this idea of how Playtime Poppy sets these roots with these kids when they get to go to Operation Backstage, when they get to come see the previews, when they come to these shows. When they come to high school, they're like, and I'm going to audition for the Playtime Poppy, even if it's on top of my other activities. I have kids who are in cheerleading. I have students who are in volleyball, but they're like, I want to be in Playtime Poppy because I was once an audience member in Playtime Poppy. So it's such a neat cycle.
Well, and we know of more than a few local students who this was their launching pad to big stuff.
Absolutely.
At school, at college, and even and professional as well. Well, you mentioned the caterpillar and the special effects. Is there another moment that you're especially anxious for the young audiences to see?
The tea party is always a fun one. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, people, they're ready for that tea party. So that one also uses a lot of the ninjas where every part of the table has different cups that are moving around because there's kids in full black costume underneath there. And if they clap their hands, all of the cups can switch where they're at the table. And of course, it's a Joling production, so there are a few puppets in the production as well, including the dormouse and some flying butter.
Yeah. Puppets have become a larger, that is a theme that is prevalent in a lot of your scripts and shows.
My favorite thing in the world is trying to make something imaginary look real. And puppets are one of those rare blurs the lines between the two. Because
kind
you
of
can
both.
see it. It's right there in front of you. Some part of you knows it's a stuffed animal or something like that. But it responds, it talks, it's right there with you. So it really does blur the line, especially for kid audiences, as to what's real and what's the magic I'm watching right now. So I think they're just a perfect tool to help tell the story.
Alice in Wonderland, Playtime Poppy, Cedar Rapids Children's Theater at Jefferson High School in Cedar Rapids. We are October 16 through 18.
That's correct.
Remember that correct? What times are the shows? I know you're kind of wrap up the week and then do a couple on the weekend too.
Exactly. The Thursday night is a 5 o'clock. Then we have a 5 o'clock and a 7:30 on Friday. And then on Saturday, it's 11 and 2.
Okay. And tickets available at the Playtime Poppy website, which is playtimepoppy.org.
Also available on JHSCRbooktix.com, or you can always get tickets at the door.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you can get them in advance. Probably just Google. If you don't remember those initials, Google Jefferson Cedar Rapids. You'll be able to get there on the website.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Well, Playtime Poppy is always a blast, and especially when you've got one of your scripts and your kids going. So looking forward to this one a lot. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me today.
You can hear the Culture Crawl live on the radio most weekdays at 10:30, on demand at kcck.org/culture, or subscribe using your favorite podcast player. Watch our videos on the KCCK Facebook and YouTube channels. Our producer is Lydia Kilgore. The Culture Crawl theme is composed by Vivian Shanley. I'm Dennis Green, and I'll talk to you later.